Alright, hello. Welcome to the 11.0.5 Frost Mage Guide. In order to keep things concise, this is only going to cover Spellslinger because it's currently much better than Frostfire in every scenario. So if you wanted to play Frostfire, your best bet was last week, or if they change and buff things in the future. Frostfire looks like it is, or currently does, play very similarly to Spellslinger in all content. It just has a little bit more considerations around different buffs. So, but again, only going to cover Spellslinger. We still have about 4 different rotations to cover. We want to cover full raid single target, which includes a lot of frostbolting into Winter's Chill. I want to talk a little bit about Cleave. I probably won't go too deep into that. And then we have your, Mythic Plus standard AOE. And then we also need to talk about your single target Mythic Plus build, because when you start dropping some of these single target talents from raid, you have to do a different single target rotation. Pretty different single target rotation, actually. So, yep, that's what we're here to talk about. In case you were interested in the number difference between them, and this isn't really a great comparison for pre-patch, because I'm just looking at PTR stuff, so functionally, the numbers aren't the same as before, but Frostfire will be about 8% lower than Spellslinger in single target. It's about 6% lower than Spellslinger in 2 target, and it's 5% lower than Spellslinger in 5 target. So lots of benefits to playing Spellslinger, especially because Spellslinger's pretty easy to play this time around. But again, if you want to play Frostfire, a lot of this is transferable. If it ends up changing, we have very similar rotations between the two of them for different reasons. But all right, let's take a look at the single target talents. So we got a new choice node on our Spellslinger tree, which isn't really choice node, because you're just always going to take the new thing, which is that when you consume Winter's Chill with Glacial Spike, you generate additional splendors. Remember, splendors are what you generate when you consume Winter's Chill, which previously we wanted to use only Ice Lance into, because casting the much longer cast of Glacial Spike didn't actually give you any more splinters. Well, now it does. Now it gives you 2 additional ones, which would be 3 total, versus Ice Lance giving you 1, so this is very efficient. We also, generate splinters via our Frozen Orb. So, yeah, you will always take this unless some really weird non-GS build comes out, in which case shifting shards would happen, but shifting shards is much worse. So, then if you take a look at our single target build, this could make some of you happy. We are not taking Ray Frost, and we are not taking Common Storm. So, that's 2 bones you don't really need for your pure single target. Of course, there's only 2 pure single target bosses in the raid, and you will want to take Common Storm on Cleave and such, but pure single target, this is where you're at. This is what I recommend. Works wonderfully. Lots of Frostbolt talents, and that's going to cause you to Frostbolt quite a lot. This is going to be our single target, and then I also include the Cleave priority here as well. Because of all these Frostbolt talents, we're going to do a lot of Frostbolting into Winter's Chill. Primarily, you're doing it over Ice Lance when you are stacking your Death's Chill at the start of Icy Veins, but then also, which can take, 20 seconds or something. But then also, you'll do it on your second stack of Winter's Chill if you just do not have a flurry charge. But yeah, otherwise it's pretty simple. Your accounts are just flurried. Now, however, we do not want to do that in Icy Veins, which is part Death's Chill, part Splinters having, higher value now, really, given their really high damage value. And so if you're a bit confused about why this playstyle is happening, you can watch my last video. I'm not going to get into that here. But yeah, flurry, pretty simple. You're going to do it with no Winter's Chill on the target, and if you just cast Frostbolt Glacial Spike, very common. However, unlike last year and unlike in Dragonflight, there is no such thing as casting your flurry without pre-casting a Frostbolt or Glacial Spike into it. If you do that, watch your back, okay? Because I have a level 50 rogue, so just be scared. So yeah, you always want to Frostbolt or Glacial Spike before your flurry in single target, and Cleave at this moment with this new build with how Spellslinger looks. Third one's just going to be you're going to Orb. Orb is really high priority. If you have it off CD, you should press it. Don't cancel spells for it, but just press it. Your shipping power, specifically flurries on CD, because we care a lot about Winter's Chill at the moment. There can be gains here to not use shifting power at certain fight lengths, but that's incredibly finicky. So I recommend don't do that. If you really want to, and you have some weird fight remain timer, weak aura, you can, don't shifting power. It's not going to get you another Icy Veins, essentially. So for 5, we have Glacial Spike. This is specifically only shatterable Glacial Spikes. We do not cast Glacial Spike if we cannot shatter it. Yeah, makes sense with the new talent that we got from Spellslinger. Ray, we don't take this. So this is just if we take it later down the road. But yeah, you'd use it not in Icy Veins. If you have Winter's Chill, doesn't matter the stack. Again, Frostbolt, less than 8 Death's Chill during Ice Veins. We really want to aggressively stack this because otherwise it's pretty hard to actually get stacks of Death's Chill for very long in single turn. And then we have our Ice Lances. So there's a couple options here, but essentially you're always going to Ice Lance into the first Winter's Chill. So right after you Flurry, you have 2 Snowflakes. That's your first Winter's Chill or your 2-stack Winter's Chill. It's however you want to say it. You'll see once we do the gameplay example. That is when you would Ice Lance. You could potentially Glacial Spike that, and then you would not Ice Lance. However, on the last stack as well, if you have another Flurry charge, you're going to Ice Lance there too, and then go into a Frostbolt or Glacial Spike into Flurry. If you do not have a Flurry charge there though, you will be Frostbolting, which will probably make more sense once we look at the gameplay example. So yeah. For Cleave, this is kind of almost exactly the same. The main thing to note is you're stacking, your Frostbolt a little bit more aggressively, except not really, because with 2 targets you get, 13 stacks after 7 casts instead of, Ice is still 7 casts with single target, but yeah, but specifically you're Ice Lancing with Fingers of Frost and not with Winter's Chill, whereas in single target you're Ice Lancing with Winter's Chill. I have a Shadow Deep Dive on my channel if you want to look at that, but the big reason for this would be that Fingers of Frost shatters against 2 targets, and Winter's Chill is only against the target that has Winter's Chill on it, so it just makes Ice Lance a lot higher value in this situation. So yeah. Alright, let's get into some gameplay examples for Rage. Alright, so let's take a single target example. This isn't going to be exactly perfect, but it's mostly perfect, so that's what we want to look at. There's a cast sequence over here if you want to see what spells I'm casting. So, do your opener, Frostbolt, Flurry, Icy Veins, Orb. Now, normally you would want to Ice Lance this, when you have 2 Snowflakes, you want Ice Lance to get rid of the first one. However, when you're in Icy Veins, until your Death's Chill is at 8 stacks, you want to Frostbolt this anyway. So, that's what we're trying to do, trying to get a Death's Chill up to 8, and then we will continue with the essentially filler rotation. So here, I Glacial Spike after I can see my Winter's Chill. Now we are real way for me to react to the fact that I proc Splundering Gold on the previous Frostbolt. And then we Flurry, and then we Orb, and then we Frostbolt, because we're still at 8 Death's Chill stacks. Now here, and this is important, you see I have Flurry, and I'm Frostbolting right here. I do not want to Flurry. The reason you don't want to Flurry is because when you Flurry when you Frostbolt into Flurry, it already consumes Winter's Chill. Okay, so here, I still have Winter's Chill on my target, so if I Frostbolted into Flurry right here, I would essentially lose a Winter's Chill for no reason. Very bad. So I finish this Frostbolt, and I cast another Frostbolt, and then that one I Flurry on. Then Glacial Spike. Now here, ideally I will react to this Frozen Orb and use this, but you're going to be getting a lot of these. You want to pay attention to them. Inside Frostbolted, which is fine. Then you Orb, then you Frostbolt Flurry. Now, I'm at 8 Death's Chill stacks. So, we are going to just Ice Lance, and then Glacial Spike, and then Frostbolt Flurry, and then we can Ice Lance, and we can Glacial Spike and Orb, and Frostbolt Flurry, and then Ice Lance, because I have another Flurry thing. Frostbolt into Flurry. We do not care if we munch Icicles. If you are casting Frostbolt and have Flurry, you should use it after it, assuming there's no, Winter's Chill already on the target. So here I'll Orb, and then I'll Glacial Spike, and I'll Ice Lance, because I have a Flurry charge, and I Frostbolt Flurry, and I Ice Lance, and I Glacial Spike, and I Orb, Frostbolt Flurry. So I still have not cast Shifting Power, just because I haven't ran out of Flurry charges yet. But once I do, that's why I might cast it. So Ice Lance twice, because I still have a Flurry charge. Flurry, Ice Lance twice, because I still have a Flurry charge. Frostbolt Flurry here. Glacial Spike, no second Ice Lance. The next one's going to be Frostbolt, and then Shifting Power. Technically, you could do that while Winter's Chill is active. However, I'm not Ice Veins, I'm not in Lust. I don't really have enough haste for that, for me to Shifting Power, and then also consume the Winter's Chill. So I just consumed it first, which is fine. Then we just Frostbolt until we get a Brain Freeze proc. We're not going to cast Glacial Spike, or actually we are, because our Flurry came off cooldown. If we did not have a Flurry here, we wouldn't cast this, because again, we only want to cast it if we can shatter it. So we have Flurry, Ice Lance once, and then just Frostbolt. Use our Frozen Orb, we got a Brain Freeze proc, so now we can Glacial Spike Flurry. Use our orb as fast as possible. This was my one mistake, or one of the mistakes, was I Ice Lance to go from 4 to 5 Icicles. That's a mistake. Press Frostbolt, no one wants you to Ice Lance, so yeah. And then we're going to Glacial Spike, and then Flurry, and then Orb. It's important to note that the condition to essentially Frostbolt for Death Chill stacks doesn't exist for Time Anomaly. We Ice Lance, then we Frostbolt, then we Orb, Frostbolt Flurry, Glacial Spike. After we use our Orb, we Ice Lance, because we have Flurry charges. Use our Orb again, Ice Lance, then we Glacial Spike Flurry, Frostbolt. So there I should have flurried after that Frostbolt, but it's okay. Ice Lance twice, do this, Frostbolt Flurry, even though we're at 4. Then we Ice Lance, or sorry, we should actually not Ice Lance, we should spam our flurries, because we're, we need Death Chill stacks. This was the other major mess up. I'm going to Shifting Power here, because I don't have a Flurry charge, and I'm not going to Glacial Spike. Then I'll have a Flurry charge, Flurry even though it overcasts me on Icicles, because I have to. Here we'll start our Ice Lances, we reach the Death Chill. And hopefully you get the picture. So we're gonna Frostbolt here, we have no Flurry charges, then Glacial, well actually this is shouldn't have Glacial Spike because we can't shatter it. It's not that big of a deal, but you don't want to do that. So now we're gonna Ice Lance here as well, because we have a Flurry charge now. And there you go. And this is what the breakdown's gonna look like here. So for Cleave, we're doing very much the same thing, and you would change your talents a little bit here, but I'm just going to go ahead and do them at single turret ones. You can, find Cleave ones whenever they kind of really get decided, because I think for Raid specifically, it's a little bit undecided. It's really going to depend on what you can get away with in terms of the AoE to single turret ratio, which is very bad for dropping single turret talents when you're playing a Frostbolt build. So we'll see. But using the single turret one is pretty good, especially if you decide to take Permafrost Lances and then you take Comet Storm like this. This is, I think, our best 2-target build. But anyway, so we'll skill that, I suppose. Might as well. Yeah. So the big thing is you're going to get Ice Lance with Fierce Frost, and you're Frostbolting until 13 stacks of Death Chill, which is still about the same amount. Frostbolt's a little bit less, right? But yeah. And you're tab targeting with Flurry. This is specifically going to be at like 2 to 3 targets, pretty much. You can essentially start your AoE at 3 targets if you want, but yeah. So, because of I'm fired up, all my splinters are going to hit the dummies behind me, but we're going to ignore that. It's going to cost me, honestly, a lot of damage because I'm not sharing them with my Weir's Chill, but that's alright. Frostbolt Flurry, Ice Veins, Orb. Here we're going to use our orbs. Again, we're consuming our Weir's Chill with Frostbolt until we get to 13 stacks in 2 target. So, yeah. As you can see, you're going to get a lot of orb resets here. Technically, I should Shifting Power. There we go. There we go. Orb. One thing I am messing up here is I'm actually prioritizing a normal Frostbolt over Ice Lance. Or actually, no. That's right. Yeah, so I reached 13, so I can finally start playing the game. I don't know if you noticed, I just tab targeted my Glacial Spike there. So here, I reached 13, I Ice Lance, this guy still has 1 Weir's Chill, I make Glacial Spike, and I'm going to tab to the other guy so I can flurry him and shatter against both targets. Reorb, start using all my Ice Lances. I ran out of them, so I Frostbolt Flurry, then Glacial Spike, start using my Ice Lances. Here, I'm going to ignore Glacial Spike because I can't shatter it. And I Comet Storm after Flurry because I'm out of Icy Veins. A little bit weird, but you Frostbolt into Winter's Chill if you don't have Fair's Frost, so that might change, which is a pretty easy thing for us to change. Tap target Flurry here. I'm out of Winter's Chill, or Flurry charges, so I shift from power. Reorb. Not going to Glacial Spike, because I don't have Flurry yet. Now I can. And we're going to Comet Star after it. I should have tapped target Flurry there. I did not. For whatever reason. I'm going to do it right here. Reorb. And then we keep Frostbolting to reach 13. See, this is bad Glacial Spike because I can't shatter it. That's right. We reached 13, so now I can play the game. Ideally, I would have tapped target my Glacial Spike there, but what I meant was instead of Glacial Spiking, I should have ideally, sent my reset first orb. It's pretty important you get those off as soon as possible, because as you can see, we're getting a lot of resets. I should have Glacial Spiked earlier, but it's alright. Because again, if we look at our priority, Glacial Spike is higher than Ice Lancing with Fierce Frost. So I kind of ignored that there. Tap target Flurry, Orb, Ice Lance, Ice Lance, Ice Lance, Ice Lance, Frostbolt. Now here I should Glacial Spike, right? Over Ice Lance. Because I can shatter it. Here we're going Comet Storm, then Glacial Spike, then tap target, then Flurry, then I would Ice Lance, and then I would Shifting Power. And yeah, I would Reorb and everything, but here's the damage breakdown for that. My splinters would be a lot higher if they're hitting the targets I was hitting, because they would be shattering a lot more. Now we're on to Mythic Plus. So Mythic Plus, of course, has its own single target, which is going to be very similar to Dragonflight's single target with a few changes, mostly simplicity. In terms of what I recommend for a Mythic Plus build, this is going to be the general build I recommend. Same spec tree as last, 3.5, and this is great, and this is what I'd recommend if mobs are not living your Icy Veins. If they are living your Icy Veins, I think plain Death Chill is just always superior. It's more single target, and it's more AoE, however, you're pressing Frostbolt probably 5 times at the start of your Icy Veins, which we'll get into more of the nuances later, but that's not ideal when mobs are going to die 10 seconds into it, and you're wasting 20 seconds of your Icy Veins running to the next pack, okay? So this is for, high key pushing. Alright, if you're pushing your keys, this is what I'd run. Otherwise, just stick with the default. It's worth noting that Frostbite has a pretty high value for Spellslinger, assuming there's a lot of freezable targets, just because it's shading out so many orbs that every orb gives you a higher chance to proc this, essentially, because that's no ICD. So if you're playing DC and you want that, I would just drop First Touch, take Frostbite. Otherwise, you don't really need to worry about it, but here really the only option is for you to drop a Wintertide is a generally good option. You can also drop Piercing Cold, but personally I would probably drop Wintertide because I like Push, it does a lot of damage. So yeah, that's what your key talents are going to look like. Not really changing much unless things evolve. This is what your single target is going to look like for Mythic Plus. In Raid, if you want this playstyle, you'd be dropping to take your kind of cold AoE talent, you'd be dropping Slick Ice and 1 point of Splintering Cold. But then you'd just be doing this in Raid. So yeah, just run your sim, see what you're doing. Anyway, nothing too crazy. Still not Comet Storming in Icy Veins. You would use Ray the same as you do in the other version. It's just we're not taking Ray because we don't really want it. So yeah, similar opener to what we've kind of always had in Dragonflight. Flurrying again requires a precast. If you do it without a precast, just beware, scared of some closets. You're just gonna Orb, Shifting Power, Flurry's on CD, Glacial Spike if you can shatter it, Ice Lance like normal with Fierce Frost or Winter's Chill, and then Frostbolt if you have nothing. Okay? That's what our single target's gonna look like. If you are not playing Death Chill, I would Comet Storm after Flurry always and just ignore the in Icy Veins requirement. But yeah, standard stuff that we Glacial Spike Flurry, Orb, we got Ice Lance, Orb when we can, Ice Lance, the Icicles, Glacial Spike when we get to 5, we can shatter it, which we could because we have Flurry charges, which can. A lot of this is just you gotta press your Orb as soon as it comes off cooldown, because it's just gonna come off cooldown a lot. Came off cooldown again, press it again. I'm basically pressing nothing but Ice Lance and Orb here. Oh, look, another Orb. Another Orb. Literally resets itself in the same GCD. I just didn't notice here for some reason. Another Orb. But yeah. Another Orb. Technically, I could shifting power here, but, I will here to get Flurry CDR. And then I'll GS Flurry Comet Storm. This is the awkward part where I don't have a Flurry, so I just ignore Glacial Spike until I get one. But inevitably, I'm going to get one when I'm precasting another Frostbolt, so I have to Flurry during it, bunch of Icicles, but just how it goes. Here I'm casting Glacial Spike, so I cannot Ice Lance, because the Ice Lance would hit first, so I'm going to Frostbolt. Don't have Freezing Wind Tracker, so I can't really see the finished Frost procs, but I'm not going to Glacial Spike anyway, so until I get a Brain Freeze proc, which is taking a really long time. So yeah, you can see the Frozen Orb likes to proc at the most inconvenient times. Mostly when you're casting a spell that you then need to press another spell after as well. Very easy to not react to it, and that can probably cost you quite a lot of Frozen Orbs, which is a bit unfortunate. But that's just the reality we live in, and why a mechanic like this is bad, but that's my opinion. And yeah, then I have Chicken Power. I don't believe I show the damage done, so let me go ahead and do that. I'm gonna plate this. Lots of Ice Lance damage, lots of Glacial Spike damage, lots of Frozen Orb damage, lots of Splinter damage. The classic. And their AoE really hasn't changed much except for using Glacial Spike, and you have to play with Death's Chill, or if you do play with Death's Chill, obviously if you don't have Death's Chill, just remove these Frostbolts, and you just, like Ice Lance or something, but you wouldn't have to delay your Cone of Cold combo for not playing Death's Chill. I guess I'll say with Death's Chill, just to make that very clear. But if you do have Death's Chill, you essentially want to stack it to 5 and then do your burst, which is why it's not great for low keys or things where things die quickly. So our Cone of Cold combo remains the same, still blizzarding at high priority. You would Frostbolt till 15 Death's Chill if you're in Icy Veins. Before you did your Comet Storm combo, your Comet Storm if Cone is up, so you can Comet Storm and then Cone, or if it's 20 seconds away, so then in 30 seconds you could do the Cone of Cold combo again, which is this. You're going to shift your power if Comet Storm's on CD, Glacial Spike if you enchant it, Flurry if you Brain Freeze, or if you just Glacial Spiked, and then you're just going to Ice Lance, with Finished Frost from Wish Chill, Flurry, with no precast, just, because why not, and then Frostbolt. So that's your AoE thing. Not very much different from before the patch. If you want to not view it, I'm going to do it with Death Chill just so you can see it, because if you don't have Death Chill, you just remove the Frostbolts and go straight into your Countstorm combo after your Blizzard and Orb. But yeah, you're going to want to use any Blizzard or Orb procs, that occur. Sorry, not Blizzard procs, but Orb procs, if they come up between your Frostbolts. I don't get any here, so just Frostbolt, re-Blizzard, do Frostbolt 2 more times, and then I'm going to do my cold combo. Orb was only 9 seconds away. Probably could have waited another, could have Glacier Spiked. It's okay. It's not that big of a deal. Here I'm going to want to Shifting Power, ideally. Just, I want to get my Countstorm CDR. Here I'm going to Freeze, which is from your Water Elemental. Didn't really talk about it, but these mobs are CCable. So it's really good if you can to use your Ice Nova or your Freeze after your Glacial Spike, like this, when the mobs are freezable. Otherwise, you can just follow it with the Flurry. It just takes place of your Flurry. One thing I don't do as good of a job here is I should have flurried right now. I don't know if I do. I don't. But it's really important that you, flurry over Ice Lance with Brain Freeze, just because that's how you are going to more consistently generate, so here I should have flurried earlier. That's how you're going to more consistently generate your splinters, right? So right now I'm saying on Wish Chill that I could have used if I had just flurried earlier. It's okay. Here, I do not want a Shifting Power because my Countstorm is just too low on CD. So what will happen is we can just do a little bit of math here, okay? Shifting Power reduces Countstorm's cooldown by 12 seconds. Technically, I'm not supposed to Countstorm if I have less than 20 on Cone of Cold. But if I Countstorm and then Shifting Power, that's an additional 12 seconds CDR that it's not assuming I have. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to Countstorm and then Shifting Power, and I'm only going to have to delay my Cone of Cold by 6 seconds. Okay. So you just got to do a little bit of arithmetic there. So now I go back into Icy Veins, and I spam my Frostbolts 5 times, right? Refresh my Blizzard. 12, 15, Glacial Spike, I might Freeze with the Water Elemental. And now I'm getting my Cold combo because my Comet Storm is up. I'm also hitting the PP dummy here because your splinters just go everywhere. I think so. A bit unfortunate. Can change your damage numbers a little bit. You see there, and count out the PP dummy. So yeah, that's really it. If I ever ran out of Ice Lances, I would use, a different spell like Frostbolt or something, but don't really need to. In terms of gear and stat prio, we still really like Spymasters, still really like Sackbrood. Verse is a pretty good stat. You're not going to want as much haste, generally speaking, because we don't have such tight windows of trying to fit Ice Lances in. But yeah, you should just sim yourself. Single target 5 minutes will literally solve everything you need. In terms of AoE, the only changes you generally make from that, or you go maybe more master, more crit, but it doesn't really matter. That's why I sim single target 5 minutes, top gear, and you're good to go. All right. You can change your trinkets beyond kind of what becomes meta in Mythic Plus. That's great. These are great if you have lower level trinkets. Having a Shadow Binding Ritual Knife is really good. With Sackbrood or with some other trinkets, I wouldn't really recommend the Candle. It requires you to be in melee for you to get the most use out of it. And I think that's not really bait if you're in melee, but it's not very reliable for most players. They would rather have some flexibility in the range that they are paying the boss at. So I just wouldn't really use this, but up to you. Up to you. You can delete your Splinter Weak-Cores. You don't really need them at the moment. I would recommend keeping a version of the Snowflake Weak-Core because that's just universally a very used Weak-Core for tracking your Winter's Chill, because it just instantly removes it when you cast a spell, when technically it's not removed until it hits the target. So use high haste or far range. Frost is looking like a great spec in Epic Plus, looking pretty decent for raid if you can stomach frostbolting that much. The lack of flexibility into AOE does make it a little bit worse than it was last patch. For example, on Brood Twister, Arcane's probably gonna surpass it, but we'll see how the meta shakes up. Honestly, it's hard to tell before it actually launches, and I expect there might be a bit swift with some of the tuning changes that come post 0.5, especially to Arcane given the state it's ended up in. So yeah, but Frost, good spec numbers wise. I think in Mythic Plus it's gonna dominate again because it's just doing pretty disgusting damage, pretty good single target. If we don't have the whole Frostbolt to Winter's Chill thing in single target and in raid, I think it's a pretty fun spec as well. And it's got a bit of mobility. Hopefully they tone down the orb resets. In general, I think they should just not have orb reset because I think right now we have 3 mechanics to make orb reset, which is a little ridiculous and makes the rotation feel kind of bloated, as well as devaluing Frozen Orb as a CD, but that's all right. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments down below.